Hi, Josh Barker with Josh Barker Real Estate, and thank you for checking out our market update for the month of August 2025. Let's go ahead and kick right off by looking at the sales report for the Shasta County Multiple Listing Service. Now, last month, in the month of July, we had 211 properties that closed escrow. To bring you some context, last year we closed 245 in the same month. So sales are down year over year by about 14%. If you look at the pendings though, pendings have been trending about the same. Last month in July, we finished at 218 properties that were under contract at the end of the month. The previous year was at 209. So it just tells you that we're sort of flattening out in that pending area. When you look bigger picture though at the total inventory, this is a shocker. Right now we're averaging 1,018 properties that are currently for sale here in the market. That's up a whopping 30% compared to last year when we were at 783 properties for sale at the end of July. Now last month, total inventory that came to market finished at 348 homes. A year ago, 297 homes, up about 17%. So you can start to see sales volumes or close volumes going down. Inventory is going up. And it's having an impact on what we like to call the absorption rate. The absorption rate is how many months supply of homes are for sale if the homes selling right now continue to sell at that pace without anything else coming to market. And right now we're averaging 5.39 months supply of homes for sale. To share with you what that means, 0 to 3 months supply is typically what we call a seller's market, meaning that there's a lot of buyer demand and not as much inventory. A 4 to 5 months supply is typically what we would call a neutral market, meaning that neither the buyer or the seller has any leverage in that market. And then the final one is anything that's 6 months or more is typically what we consider to be a buyer's market, meaning there's more inventory and fewer buyers. Right now, sitting at that 5.39 months supply means we're kind of at the tail end of a neutral market. It'll be interesting to see what happens going into the fall if those numbers continue to climb. So next thing to look at is just active overall, the average sales price in the market. We finished at $408,000. That's down just slightly from the $413,000 of last year. Again, suggesting neutral market. And then the median sales price finished this year so far at $365,000. A year ago it was $369,000. Again, reflecting that neutral market we're talking about. So if we kind of zoom out of that for a minute, bigger picture items to talk about would just be the interest rates right now. If you're shopping for a mortgage, last month it averaged around a 6.825%. The Federal Reserve just met a few days ago. They didn't make any changes to their interest rate, and now they won't have another meeting unless it's unanticipated until about the middle of September, so we'll all be waiting to see. This morning's numbers came out with the jobs report. Apparently there was a large revision. The jobs unemployment numbers are beginning to climb. That might indicate that interest rates could be coming down between now and the end of the year. If you want to look at the rental market for a minute, long-term rental market, that's anything longer than 30 days, it's still sitting at about a 7.5% vacancy rate, which means that of all the rentals that are available, only 7.5% are currently in the process of trying to get rented out. And then the short-term rental market, which would be your vacation rentals, anything less than 30 days, that market's still a little soft right now. We're hearing reports of people having a harder time getting those rented for those previously projected prices. So we're still seeing some of those transition to the long-term rental market. Some cases are being liquidated or removed from the market altogether. Something we'll just have to continue to watch. New construction, unfortunately, not a lot of news on the front there. There's two major builders in town. You have Horton, and you also have Palomar Builders. Now we have rumors of a couple other developments coming online. One over off of Quartz Hill Road on the west side of town, probably about 200 or less homes that'll be coming up. Some of those will be lower income. And so we'll be watching to see what those prices might be. And then there's another development over in Northeast Reading, where they're talking about bringing in a type of modular home development, and something that's interesting. But we'll have to watch to see how that actually comes into the market. So last thing just to talk about is just looking at the overall projection of home prices for the balance of the year. You know, right now, as we're moving into this neutral market, prices are softening a little bit. Condition, marketing, and pricing is going to be critical for sellers to have success in getting their properties sold as we go into the fall. If you have any questions at all, just know we're here. We're always here to help. Thank you again for taking your time with us today. Have a great day.